welcome to our first podcast, everyone.
Welcome, everyone. We are Intentional Hearts Counseling Consulting. I am Dr. TJ.
And I am Marcene, and we are
Two Vibes, One Vision.
I am a licensed chemical dependency counselor and trained in all things crisis management and crisis responsive services, specializing in addiction and trauma. I love what I do.
You forgot to tell them about your passion area.
My passion area is women, empowerment, anxiety, working with families with addiction issues. I love people, and I love adolescents and young people. But I believe you are your best accessory, so I love to help people feel better about themselves, for sure.
And again, I am Dr. TJ. I am also a licensed chemical dependency counselor, and I also hold certification as a school counselor. I specialize in working with teens and young adults with substance use behaviors and related behaviors. My passion area is working with those young adults and older teens who have behaviors that cause significant problems in the educational system, whether that's in middle school, high school, or in college, or even in their early career fields, but working with youth and young adults who have behaviors that are significant enough to affect those areas. However, we do work with all ages.
All ages.
So,
the littles,
all the way up to our mature adults.
the big littles, because we know and the adult littles. Because we know how that is, for sure. When you have experienced trauma, it's almost like you get stuck at that age. So we continue to grow physically.
But emotionally, mentally, we tend to stay at that age in which that trauma or whatever happens.
Exactly. So I am still the age of the trauma.
Yes. And so
we're here to help you address that trauma. As we do the same for ourselves.
That is very true.
We check ourselves on a very regular basis. The healers need healing.
Yes, we do.
For sure. So,
as my good friend Andy once said, even sponges need to drip. That's one of my favorite quotes.
Absolutely. Even sponges need to drip. So, I spent 17 years in the school district as the director of intervention counseling. So, lots and lots of programming, coalition building, and mobilizing a team of dynamic intervention counselors who did this work every single day. So we're taking it on the road, and Dr. TJ was one of those on that team.
That's how we came to be,
and that's how we came to be. That's our story.
And I have 15 years of working as a school counselor or intervention counselor within the school systems. We also both have individual private practice experience, and we decided to join our efforts together.
Join forces.
Some of the other additional services we provide, our services are in-home, virtual, and in office, but it's more of a limited basis with the in office. But we really enjoy going into homes
and doing the
work and meeting people where they are. People tend to be more comfortable in their homes, and so all you have to do to find out more information about us and our services is go to our website. It should be posted below right here.
www.intentionalheartscc.com. And you will get all the information that you need and learn more about us, how we went from co-workers
to co-pilots.
And so there's a lot more to share on our website for sure.
And while we're talking about sharing, before we go into the main thing, also please follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook under @IntentionalHearts. Come follow us.
And she does all that because I am not tech savvy at all. So
it's a private
I like
hobby.
to do all this work, but this, yes.
It's a private
She
hobby.
does a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. to make us look good, for sure. So,
and she's more extroverted, so she does a lot of the meet and greet
the socializing.
Yes.
So, absolutely.
That's why we work well together, though.
We do. It is Mental Health Awareness Month.
It is. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And NAMI, I love NAMI's hashtag this month.
Oh.
It is hashtag more than enough.
And there's one thing I saw on their website that just really touched me. It's so powerful. If you woke up this morning, you are more than enough.
You are already more than enough.
Already more than enough. Just being present is enough.
A lot of times I have days where I'm like, you know what? I can get one thing accomplished today. And if I get that one thing accomplished, it doesn't have to be big. Sometimes that one thing might just be, I'm going to eat breakfast today.
There you go.
That might be
well,
my
because
one thing.
we think our productivity, we directly relate it to our work.
Yes.
And
it's a society that we've been brought up in.
Exactly. That's how we've been raised. And productivity does not measure worth.
We equate busyness with value.
Absolutely. And I'm telling you, being the strong, busy person is no longer a flex.
No, it is not.
It is okay not to be okay. So being strong all the time, silently suffering, which is what we're kind of raised to do, especially, I'm just gonna say, as black women, that we're supposed to silently suffer
and take care of everyone else,
and be strong, and always be busy
and giving
all the time. But who we sacrifice in doing that is ourselves.
Our well-being.
Absolutely.
Used to always say, if you don't sit yourself down, your body will sit you down.
Your body will sit you down, and God will sit you down for sure. You know, you can do it on your own. And get the rest and take care of your temple, you know, your physical and your emotional well-being, or something will happen that will sit you down anyway. And so because it is not a flex.
It's not. And with 1 in 5 adults experiencing a mental health need every year, and only half of them actually receiving services or seeking out services, that
is a problem.
Yes.
And then when you look at just the state of Texas, we are last in the nation for access to mental health services. So even though we have these numbers of 1 in 5 adults, 1 in 8 adolescents,
I believe,
that suffer a mental health illness each year, and then we say half of them receive services. Part of that is because there are no services to receive. They don't have access to what they need. So our job, for all of us as a human being, especially those that are in this line of work, is to increase access to mental health services, decrease the stigma, and fight for these services. And how are some different ways that people can do that?
So, first of all, you're talking about decreasing the stigma.
Right.
So, within your area of comfort, share your daily. The thing about social media is we have the term FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yes.
And so we always say social media just tells people's highlights. Something that I've been intentional about is sharing some of my lowlights too.
Absolutely.
So in pure transparency, back in November-ish, I went through depression from like November to February. And I wanted it documented on social media, because if I'm an advocate for stopping the stigma and showing that mental health is just health, I can't not share my story.
Absolutely.
And so just simple things like that. And again, sharing with what feels comfortable, or to whom you feel comfortable sharing it to. But the thing is, once I shared that, I had friends and family members and loved ones contact me privately to say, hey, thank you for telling me that.
It's okay.
Right. And then they felt comfortable telling me because I shared with them. Or they asked me, who is my therapist? Or they asked, just different things, and making it as normal as saying, who is your doctor?
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know what, I love your hair. Who do you go to?
Absolutely.
You know, I love your health. I know you went through some things and you made it out. Who your therapist, girl?
Exactly.
Or
It's
guy,
the same
or whatever.
thing we do, right? If we have a diagnosis of a physical illness, you know, if I have diabetes and I share my story, which I'm more willing to do than if I have an anxiety disorder of some sort, or if I'm depressed. And then it helps other people who has diabetes, and we're willing to share that, and we're willing to rally around people when they're sick or there's a cancer diagnosis or something like that. Why aren't we doing the same for mental health illnesses? And to be transparent on my end, I'm sorry. In the last 2 years have been really, really difficult for me, but I've had to, you know, stand above that. I had to be strong and not really reveal that for the first time in the last 2 years I've dealt with anxiety, and I've had some anxiety attacks, things that I've never experienced before, and learning how to manage those, and really finding who my safe place is.
Yes.
That's key also, is that who is your purpose partner is what I call it.
Yes.
I think I posted something about that recently, is who's your safe place. And what I have found is during your lowest moments, during the time when you're experiencing the most traumatic, you know, stages of your life, those people surface.
Yes,
and they're usually the people you least expect.
Yes.
And the people that you think are your safe place, or who have your back,
sometimes are not, I don't want to say willing, but are not capable.
They're not capable. They don't have the capacity.
Yes. And that's okay to not have the capacity.
Right.
That's something that I teach younger people, is have at least one person in every area of your life. Have one person at school. Have one person at your place of worship. Have one person at your sports team. Have one person in your neighborhood. Just have one person in every aspect of your life. So, like, you're one of my people, right? That's common knowledge. Right. So, if you don't have the capacity, or if it's something I don't feel comfortable sharing with you, I can go share it with another friend.
Somebody else.
I can go share it with another.
Exactly.
Another.
And not just in every area of your life, but for different areas of your life. Right. Different experiences of your life. Have that person. Yes. And I think that's really important too. Yes, so as a mother, for example, that's one of my roles. Who is my person? You know, when I'm struggling as a mother or with my children, who is that person that's my safe place? That may be totally different than the person that I'm going to reach out to for my health matters, or you know, as I experience different things in my life. And so just pay close attention to your human connections, and interactions, and people that have the capacity and people that don't.
And don't get mad at people when they don't have the capacity. Just understand that's where they are. There are people who I've had every intentions of showing up for in the past, and when I started, I was like, oh, I can't, for whatever reason. So my heart, we just say charge it to my head and not my heart. Exactly. My heart might be in the right place, but my head, my life, my whatever doesn't allow it. Doesn't mean I don't love you. It just means I'm not in the place. And I thought I would be. Exactly. But I'm not.
Well, and we got to accept people for who they are and where they're at, right? And sometimes where people are, do not give them the capacity to do much more. You know, tragedy, trauma, mental illness makes us very selfish people.
It does.
Not on purpose, right? But when I'm going through, exactly. And so sometimes I don't have the capacity to help other people. And so that's why it's really important to figure out who your purpose partner is, depending on what you are struggling with. And I also have found out that in the midst of my pain, helping others helps me get through my pain. And so sometimes you have to be very intentional. You know, that's my word. Be intentional about stepping outside of yourself and your own pain to help other people. And that connection and that reaching out really does something to the heart. And again,
it doesn't have to be anything major and big. It could be as simple
as a text message.
As a text message, as I have some friends where I will text them and say, hey, quarterly check-in.
Exactly. Have you checked on your friends? Have you checked on your strong friend?
Have you checked on your quiet friend?
Your quiet friend. Your busy friend.
Yes.
Or
even, I had someone who recently made a post on social media. Mm-hmm. And so I just sent them a message that said, hey, if you need a listening ear, I'm here.
Exactly.
It's not giving advice, not
exactly.
just a listening, non-judgmental ear. Because sometimes that's all we need is just somebody to say.
And sometimes that's all I have the capacity for is just to listen to you.
That too.
And so who's your listening friend? Who's your friend who is not going to say a word, but will listen to everything you have to say? And that friend may be different than the friend who needs to fix it, right? So you need to know who to go to when, you know, and that may be different from the friend who's just present.
What about your friends?
You know what? Sometimes I'm gonna be present with you.
Yes.
And my presence is all I have to give, and that's all you need at the time.
Yes.
You know.
But that's a good challenge. I challenge our audience today. Write a list of your what do you call them? Your purpose partners.
Your purpose partners.
And put what their
purpose is
for you in your life. And then write a list of who you feel like you are purpose for.
Oh, I love it.
Because that goes with the both sides of it. Reaching out.
Yes.
To receive. Because to reach out is to receive or to give.
For sure.
And so who are your purpose partners?
And who are you purposed for? And share some of that on our social media page when you're viewing this. Comment
in the comments below.
And let us know some of those purpose partners or some things that you feel like you're purposed for, people you feel like you're purposed for. You know, another statistic that was real disturbing when we were preparing for this and we were looking on the NAMI website is that 55% of U.S. counties, think about that, y'all, more than half of the counties,
not cities, counties,
more than half of the counties in the U.S. do not have a single psychiatrist.
Do not have a practicing psychiatrist.
Think about that.
And we think about access to care. We think about, and I know of families who have tried to get psychiatrists.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's like it's a 6-month, 8-month, appointment wait.
And that's why they end up in the ER.
Yes.
Or we end up on the other side of where the person is now a danger to themselves or others. They are suicidal. And think about the steps that have possibly been made to try to get the help before there was an actual crisis.
But that's why one of the services we do is the coalition building.
Absolutely.
And the collaboration. It's because we have strategic partnerships with people throughout the country, not even just in Texas, but throughout the country to help get services. And that's also why we wanted to do in-home and virtual services.
It's about mobilizing a community of partnerships. Dr. TJ, the two of us together can't do this work alone.
We cannot.
You can't do this work alone. It takes, real old school, it takes a village.
Right.
It takes a village. It takes a community. It takes a country to address mental health awareness and give people everything that they need. And it's all hands on deck to make this happen.
Yes, absolutely. Another thing I say is that we're not meant to do this thing called life alone.
No.
We are made to be social creatures. We are social creatures by design. And that is whether we are in our highs, whether we are in our lows, and anywhere in between. We want to, what did Brene Briggs say? Brene Brown. Brene Brown say, she said we do our I'm going to totally mess up the wording on here, but she said we celebrate together in community, but we also need to grieve and experience those low parts of life in community as well, because it's a sharing. When we share that with each other, we lighten our burden, but not in like a bad way where I'm dumping on you, but just in a I feel it, you have similar experience, or you could just empathize, whether you have that experience or not, you could just empathize with me.
Absolutely.
And that makes me feel better. And the fact that you're helping out someone that you care about makes you feel better.
Absolutely.
And then when we celebrate together, you know, that's a whole, that multiplies the celebration.
Right. That's why group counseling and support groups and things like that are so beneficial. Even people that are like, I don't like to do groups, or I don't want to be a part of a group. There's something amazing and magical that happens when you are dealing with the same thing someone else is dealing with, and you come together and connect in a group setting, and you can discuss it, and you can support each other, and you can, you know, what do you call it? Bounce off just different strategies and ideas and feelings and thoughts.
When the groups are working, therapists can just sit back.
Yes.
Almost. Because of that, like you said, that bouncing off of each other and that natural inclination of, oh, yes, and.
Exactly.
That yes, and part. And it's a community.
It is a community for sure. It just again, it brings me back to, you know, it takes a village. And how are we mobilizing our village? How are we also, let's talk about self-care. You know, how are we taking care of ourselves to be the best person that we can be, and come to our fullest potential, but not for everybody else.
For ourselves.
For us.
Watch this, y'all. Marcene, how do I do myself? What's my number one self-care? Sleep.
Sleep.
I still have the thing. I have a thing on my desk that says, I believe in naps, or I love naps, or something that you bought me.
Absolutely.
That is my number one self-care.
That's her number one self-care. And I know she needs a break when she needs to sleep. So we've had situations where we might have a meeting, or we need to be doing something, and she needs a break, and her break is sleeping.
Right. And just give me 10 minutes,
you know?
15. It doesn't even
matter. And she can take that cat nap and she's okay, because that's her self-care. And she checks herself, and you're intentional about making that happen.
When I worked at a different position, I would go to my car for my lunch break and put up my little sunshade, set my little timer, and I would take my midday siesta. And I literally told someone, I said, if you want me to be who I need to be the second half of the day, you will make sure I'm uninterrupted during this part of my day. So
what do you need to be your best self? That's what you need to ask yourself every day, you know?
What's something you do?
I do. I love to shop. And it's therapeutic. I also have to balance it,
So you have your boundaries?
But I have my boundaries around it. But no, what I really do to take care of myself is I take walks.
You do. You like water.
I love walks, and I love water. So when I take walks, I find lakes to take walks around. The water, the sound of the water, the look of the water is calming to me. So what you have to find something that calms you, something that relaxes you, a place where you can practice breathing.
You said
water. And water and walking.
My other one is swimming. I love swimming. And so that is my first. It forces you to practice that breathing. I have back issues, so it's low impact on my body. And I like to go and just do laps for about 30 minutes.
And it's a workout. And we know that working out releases endorphins. Yes. So you're also really taking care of that mental health for sure. So how do you take care of yourself for yourself?
Not for anyone else.
Not for anybody else.
But for you.
But for you.
Put it in the chat below. We want to hear.
Wow.
This has been a good, exciting first episode.
It has. We hope that you have enjoyed it, and we want to know what your thoughts are about this first episode.
Please share with us what topics you would like us to talk about. Our goal is to, not even our goal, we will have 2 episodes per month.
That's what we're going to do.
Every other week.
Tune in for our next episode, and we will be talking about fentanyl and the crisis surrounding the the fentanyl epidemic, which is huge right now. As a matter of fact, by the time you see that episode, it would have passed, but May 9th is National Fentanyl Awareness Day, and I'm so excited that they've actually dedicated a day to address this epidemic and this crisis. So we're going to talk more about that for sure.
And remember, be intentional.